Yeah. So what are you called?
Yes.
Yes.
We can go. All right. So who we for?
Me.
She's the one. She's the queen.
Okay.
How was your trip?
The trip was good. I mean, tiring. Okay. How can we complain?
I know.
Yeah. After what happened the other day.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Yes. She's step as you go down.
Thank you very much.
Is it good evening or good afternoon? Or it is both? Yes. How are you? First of all, I'm so sorry that we were not able to get here in time on Friday. It was Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. The weather was horrible, and of course, God must have had His own plans. So we say all that ends well is well. So we are here. Let me start by thanking Matilda and Liz and Sylvester, because they are the ones who initiated this event. We have argued, we have quarreled, we have discussed, and you know me, I quarrel robustly. So I apologize to Sylvester in particular, because there was a time I was very angry with him. I didn't know him, obviously, but I gave him my peace of mind. But now he has acquitted himself. He has overperformed. And it is only right that I take back the criticism and tell him thank you. The man was with me yesterday. We went all the way to New Jersey. We came back. I've lived in North America since 1988, June 25th. And I can tell you, it is not easy for somebody to give you 2 days, 3 days of his life. Not here. So when somebody does that, it's more than money. That counts. In law, we say that he has demonstrated his bona fides. Yes, that is how you demonstrate your bona fides. And in my language, I say, you have earned my respect. You earn it by action, you earn it by deed, you earn it by matching your words to your action. Let me also thank Dr. Nyunja and I believe Matilda is his wife. And you know, Lelo means somebody who is truthful. You know, Luos used to call girls particularly who were talkative, who expressed themselves Lelo. All it meant was that they told you the truth. That's all it meant. Yeah. My own mother was Lelo. Actually, everything about me is my mother. My father was more of a businessman. Business in the village starters. He sold cattle. So, you know, that was the best business any man could do at that time. But my mother was a sharpshooter.
Oh, yeah?
You didn't come with nonsense and get away easily. You didn't. And that reminds me of what you just said here, before you prayed, and even when you were praying. I listened to you. Truth. That's what my mother taught me when I was young. That's why I'm telling you that everything about me is my mother. Because I didn't know my father. My father died when my mother was pregnant. So that is why I'm Miguna. I'm the last born. I was born after my father was dead, My mother named me after my father, so I'm named after my father, and I'm also the son of my father. Yes. So a lot of people have been asking, and you know, a lot of people think I'm making it up. It is actually in the passport. Yeah. Which passport? Let me tell you about the passport. You know me, I've traveled without a passport before. And when I was arrested or abducted, I've been abducted twice in the Republic of Kenya.
Oh my God.
And when I was abducted and kept in detention, I was telling them, because you see, I didn't know why they were interested in my passport. And I'm a man who doesn't do things by accident. So before I left my house that day, before they took me, I took my two passports deliberately. I reasoned very quickly as they were rummaging through my house before they came to where I was. I said to myself, if they don't kill me, I'm taking my passports. So that if they are killing me, and of course I know how they drive, I will drop the passports on the way so that people know where they killed me. If that's really why I took them.
Yes.
Secondly, I was reasoning, if they decided to dump me somewhere where there is no human settlement, I will be able to find my way out. I'll tell you why I thought like that. First of all, I'm the last born. I grew up with 7 sisters, and they sat on me properly. All right? So, so my mother protected me with all her strength. All. And I breastfed until I can remember. The truth. I breastfed until I went to grade 1. So that was something. And I was literally killed from home to go to school because I refused. So, so this story is important. I want to tell it. So I said, if they drop me somewhere in Tanzania, Uganda, wherever, in the forest, I'll be able to find my way. Because in 1987, on the 14th of November, at 3:30 a.m., they did exactly what they did to me on February 2nd, 2018. I was a student leader at the University of Nairobi. We had transformed the student organization of Nairobi University, and we took Moi head on and told him 2 things, very simple. And I'm the one who dared it publicly at the Great Court of the University of Nairobi. I told Moi, number 1, Jaramogi Odinga is going to run for elections, whether you like it or not, and whether you allow him to contest under KANU or not. Because this is not your only country. At the time, Kenya was a one-party state. And they refused to allow this old man from running for elections under any circumstances. There is somebody called Yona Pougo. I was a young man. I started this politics a long time ago. And this man contested the elections of Bondo constituency on the basis that after he wins, he would be able to relinquish the position and a by-election would be held and Jaramogi can become the MP for Bondo. And he did exactly that. A honorable man. Jaramogi put his name in and they struck it out. As a young man, I was just a teenager, I was seething with anger. I'm telling you how I became who I am. I was seething with anger, with rage. I was just a young boy. I hated it. When Jomo Kenyatta died in 1978, I was in primary school. I remember it was a Sunday. I went to my primary school and beat the bell so hard because I was happy. That's all I could do. I just remember running to my school and hitting that. It was the tractors. You know, the tractor. Yes, they used to hang it there. And I remember beating that thing. I remember that day like it was yesterday. I beat that thing so hard as a boy. And then I went home. I was happy. You understand? Because I couldn't understand, and I'm a good student of history, I've always been since I was a boy. So I knew what Jaramogi did in 1963. He was begged by the British, take power. And Jaramogi said, no, I'm not going to take power. I'm going to give power to Jomo Kenyatta. Because the Kikuyus have shed blood, it would be wrong if I, a Luo, took power before him. He said Kenyatta is the second God. His own words, I'm quoting him verbatim. Now, as a young boy, with that historical knowledge, I could not understand how anybody who did that to you, who sacrificed himself to you, who gave an opportunity to you, one, you detain. Two, you remove him from the party he brought you into. And that was not in Khan. Okay? An interloper is brought into the party. He takes over the party. He chases away the honor. He takes power, detains him, then bans him from political life as a child. And you know, children are very pure. Yeah. I hated Kenyatta. Kenyatta is the first man I hated in my life. Moi is the second. So from that time, I swore that I was not going to support this kind of injustice, and I've never done that. I've never had, no matter what you think, okay? Because I know you guys, you didn't understand what was it that we were fighting about with Raila. You didn't know that. Raila knows. But you guys don't know. All right? I've never changed, I've never wavered. That was the problem. Because they wanted me to change when we were in the coalition government. And I refused. Until they called me the Mau Mau in Raila's office. The Mau Mau who has refused to come from the forest. Everybody is eating, I've refused to come. There is no Uhuru. There is no independence. I told them, show me that we have power. I've studied it, I understand it. In state power, there are two things. Two things that matter. All right? State power, not democratic power, means state. There is money and there are guns. In state, that's what it means. You have or control money or you control guns. In a democratic state, it is the people. Right?
Yes.
So, again, when I was young, because it is important, learn this. I want to explain to you who I am and why I do things I do. Before I joined primary school, before I refused to go to school, I come from a place which is very flat, it floods every year. You guys know Kano Plains, Miguna village. It's a very, very muddy area. It's wet, it's poor, it's rural. Every child must know how to swim to survive. And at the time, there were a lot of hippopotamus. So we used to move. When it floods this way, we move that way. When it floods this way, we move that way. But we were always in the swamp. So I wanted to learn how to swim. One day we crossed River Nyando. We wanted to go on the other side, look after, go check guavas, and also take care of our herds and then come back. By the time we were coming back, the river had flooded. And I'm a child, we are on the other side. Now the other kids were older than me, they have crossed. And I'm on the other side and I want to cross. This you should listen to. Now I'm there. My mother is not there. My sisters are not there. There is no telephone. Okay? What do you do? There is no bridge. And you're on the other side of the river. And the river is fast swelling. So, as a child, I said, I'm crossing. All right? We are naked. We are children. We went naked. We came back naked. So I didn't care about the clothes because I don't have them on me. I'm wearing my natural pajamas. And I can't swim. All right? So I said, I'm crossing. So how do you do it? I'm not going to drown. I'm going to cross. So I went up to the bottom of the river and I walked across the river. Wow. Literally, I did. And when I came up on the opposite side, I decided that I must learn how to swim. That day, I learned how to swim. I did not leave that river until I could swim. I went up and down. I went up and down. I did everything in that river until I found myself floating. Wow. That's how I learned how to swim. I did it that day. Once I could float, I went home. That is what I have learned in my life. You don't give up. No is not an option, and no obstacle is big or high enough for you to go through. I learned that day. I will tell you a second story. It's important that this is everything you got. This is everything you got. Remember, I don't have a father. And at that time, it was important to have a father. My mother was illiterate. She worked with her hands. There was no job. It's just a question of digging and trying to raise a family. We were 7. This woman is a widow. And at that time, if you're a widow, mostly your uncle took the cattle that your father left. So your mother was left without. It was hard. All right? So, the only thing God gave me was a brain. And everything else I didn't have. And I'm a child. And the life is tough. And so, I figured out how to come out of that. Every day I'm walking to school as I grew up, even up to Form 1. I'm figuring it out. I'm meditating. I'm discussing with myself. I did that every day. You wouldn't believe it. There were times I would sit in my homestead in one spot until the evening, reading, trying to figure it out. The question I asked myself, because whenever we went to a harrow on foot from Miguna village, I would see nice homes. They're not so nice, but they were nice to me. Let me tell you what nice was in the definition of a child. Here I'm talking of less than 15 years. From the time I was growing up to less than 15 years. What was going on in my mind? corrugated iron sheet house, the one with corrugated iron,
Yes.
the zinc roof, was a very big deal when I was growing up. Because I didn't know it. I only knew grass-thatched house that was never thatched properly, and the water is coming in. And when it rains, we have to move around. There is no place to sleep. That's what I know. All right? So as a young boy, I'm figuring out, how did these people get zinc roofs? The best throughout my life that I saw was a semi-permanent house, meaning that it is sand mixed with dirt, mixed with cement. It is not fully permanent. That was the best in the village, probably even up to now. That's the truth. I'm not exaggerating anything, because I'm talking to a Kenyan crowd, and so it is not nuclear physics. You can check it out for yourself. I mean, maybe you saw the videos after I was arrested, and you saw the truth. That's the truth. So I'm thinking, what do you do? What do you do? What am I going to do? I went to Form 1, my mother sold her last cattle, and I'm still figuring it out. What am I going to do? In fact, I was lucky I finished Form 4. I was not going to finish because we only sold one cattle, and I was in Form 1. I managed to finish Form 4 because the teachers allowed me to, because I was a good student. I didn't pay fees after Form 1 because I figured it out. I said, I'm going to do everything. Do well in school. Do whatever it took, because this is the only asset I got. I don't have anything else. I went to Ojiko for 4 years, and I never went past Ahero. Ahero because I could walk there. People used to go for outing to Ahero Girls. I know she went to Ahero Girls. I never came. And I was the chairman of debating club, and I was the chairman of historical club and current affairs, but I never went. Why? Because you had to pay something. And I couldn't afford it. So people went, and I didn't go. The first time I went to Kisumu, I was going to Njiri's High School to go for Form 5. The first time. I never went to Kisumu, and I went to Njiko Secondary School for 4 years. All right? So what I'm trying to say is that in life, me growing up, I've never thought of an obstacle. It's not in my vocabulary. It's not in my DNA. I don't know how to spell the word because I figured it out. I say there is nothing called an obstacle. All right? It's a temporary thing that you must figure out how to go through it.
Yes.
And that is why this problem in Kenya, I figured it out. I did. To tell you the truth, you may laugh, but before August 8th, right, I'd sent many people to me and I'd said no, said no, said no, said no, 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 Jacom, I can't help you. No, no, Jacom, I have not forgiven you. No, no, Jacom, this and that. I did. All right? And one day, I said, fine. I'm going to see him. I remember Silas Jakakimba came to my house, and then somebody, one of Raila's sisters, called me. We spoke. I said, yes, okay, I'm going to see him. So I went. And the first thing I asked him, Jacom, and he called Kalonzo, so I was there with him and Kalonzo. So I pulled my friend that I trust. I said, I don't trust this man. Come along. You have to observe what he has to say. It's true. A lawyer friend of mine that was my student and my client in Canada, and that followed me to Kenya, so we maintained friends. And he's a Kikuyu. So I told him, Waikwa, come. You work for the Katiba Institute. Come and let's hear what this guy is saying. So I insisted Waikwa sit in the meeting. So we talked. So I was very brief. Number one, tell me that you're not going to concede. Then I can work with you. That's the first thing.
Thank you.
I told him, Japan, I'm not going to work with you if you're going to concede. So first of all, say it, I'm not conceding. He said, I'm not going to concede. So I said, fine. Tell me you're not going to give up after you have said you're not conceding. He said he's not going to do that. The third thing, which he didn't do, was tell me that you're going to remove this Chebukati. And he picked up the phone and he called Paul Mwangi. And he said, can you go on Monday and make an application to remove Chebukati? But they didn't do it. All right?
Yes.
Later on, I'm telling you this because it is important. Later on, I asked him, what happened? Because I repeated it again. And you remember, there was a time I became so frustrated, I said it on TV. I was with Utienda Molo. I said, you guys had not joined. I'm just helping, but I've not formally joined. I had not formally joined. So I said, you must make an application for this man to be cited with contempt so that he can be removed. That is after he messed up the August 8th. So people advising him, because this one was beyond him, because he's not a lawyer. So he told lawyers to do something. And I was there, he told them. I was there in his presence. He called. And he said exactly what I had said. So I don't blame him, all right? Because after you give instructions, then of course, what do you do? So they never carried out his instruction. Later on he told me, and this I can say now because reading today's paper, NASA is no more. I mean, don't you guys hang on that thing about NASA? It's not more, it's not there. All right, so let's admit it. That's why you should not hang on to NASA. Raila is building ODM, and we have NRM. NASA is dying, and soon it will be buried. That's the truth.
It was buried on January.
Unfortunately, some of you have forgotten and have refused to admit it.
You're in denial.
So you keep on saying, Miguna, are you working with NASA? No, I don't know NASA right now.
Thank you for
And Raila is okay with it, because I told him I'm not in NASA. And I'm not. I never joined.
Yes. Let's think forward.
This is the truth. And Raila has promised to be able to disclose it. But this is the truth. Wetangula lied to Raila. This is the truth. Wetangula told Raila Odinga, the people's president, that Chebukati is his uncle. And that Chebukati was going to deliver. And Chebukati did not deliver. This is the truth. And it is sad. They sold Raila down the kitchen tube. It is sad. So in 2007, Raila was told down the kitchen tube. You remember what happened in 2007 July? Bonding trip to London that did not take place. Then you remember ODM being taken away. Then you ODM Kenya. Then you remember ODM. Then you remember the election. And you know what happened. Right? Then 2013 I was not with you guys. Right? You kicked me in the crotch and I left. Okay. So 2017 I was alone as an independent. I said these guys are all hyenas. So let me try to go here. And of course I didn't go very far. You learn. All right?
Yes, sir.
My point is this. Raila has won elections 4 times.
Yes.
In the Republic of Kenya. He won elections in 2007. Absolutely. I was there.
I was there.
Absolutely.
We know.
Until a villager, a woman in my village, and a little Miguna. Listen to this. You know, you guys think these people in the village are stupid. They're smarter than PhDs. This woman asked me a question that could be a PhD dissertation. They're going to tell me, we are in the village here, we don't know much. But we voted. We voted. And we know Raila won. Why must he be the prime minister? Why can't Kibaki be the prime minister and Raila president?
Yes.
That was 2007. Because a lot of people were saying, you know, the coalition and, you know, Raila prime minister. But why? What was the logic? What was the logic? What informed it? Do you understand? Nobody was able to answer that. Had we answered that question, 2013 would not have happened and 2017 would not have happened. But like we are always, Greenspan used to say, the former Fed Reserve Chairman, that investors are irrationally exuberant. Luos particularly are known to be politically irrationally exuberant. So you were irrationally exuberant and felt prime minister, stepping stone to presidency. Why would you want a stepping stone to president after you have won an election?
Doesn't make
sense. You see, a lot of people say, oh, you're a hardliner. No, but it's basic logic. I won an election, I want the presidency.
Thank you.
Why am I negotiating for anything else? It's basic logic. That's where you missed it. So you missed it in 2002, when the cripple could not campaign. And Raila campaigned and won an election. Then the cripple takes power. He agrees to be a minister of infrastructure, roads. Mistake number
1.
Then you have a referendum. That's why I said he's won 4 times. So that was number 1. Kibaki did not win that election.
No.
He never campaigned.
No.
He was in London.
Yes.
Had Raila taken the rainbow and run, you would not have had the cripple.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then in 2005, the coalition has collapsed. The MOU has been abrogated. Raila is leaving. There is a referendum because they have come with something called the Kilifi mongrel between Nyachai and Wako. They went and created a mongrel and called it a constitution. So Raila said, no mongrel. Let's contest. Let's see who wins. He won in 2005 referendum. That was the second win. What should he have done? Demand that there must be a snap election. That's what happens when there is a referendum and somebody loses it. When there was a Brexit, the British went for elections.
Yes.
You never ever not go for elections after a referendum. And whoever wins the referendum becomes the leader.
Yes.
So now you make mistake number 2. You let power go again. Then in 2013, you let it go again. That's number 3. Then now is 4. This one I was there. I was a candidate. So I know on their own concession, in their own manufactured records, Raila beat Uhuru in Nairobi. Nairobi is the capital city, controls 60% of GDP, has more than about 2.2 million voters, and somebody gets 1.1 million. Honestly, how do you win the country? How? Uhuru gets 700,000 on his own manufactured IEBC records. All right? This one I'm not even making up. Their own records, they have not even changed that one. They can't even change. So you would anticipate that more probably the figures are higher. So you say, look, on these figures alone, he's beat you. So you go to Mombasa, which is the second largest city, and Raila washes him flat. You know here, if you win New York, you win California, you win Ohio, you win Florida, you're the president. Kumbe, what are you looking for? And nobody will concede. They will just show me how I lost. Yeah, show me. In fact, they will not even try. They just announce you. Because how are you going to announce somebody else? So now, you win Nairobi. You win Mombasa. You win the third city called Kisumu. All right? Forget about Kakamega. But he has won 3 cities. How is this guy losing? How? And it's not a small win. He's winning 90%. In Kisumu, it's 100. Yes. So in Nairobi, he beats you by a margin of 30%. He goes to Kisumu, he beats you by a margin of 100%. He goes to Mombasa, he beats you by a margin of 90%. And now you have won. Tell me how. Because populations are in the cities. And you have admitted that he has beaten you in these 3 major cities. Kumbe, your votes came from where? Then you go to Nakuru, you beat him, if you did, by less than 15%. So let's assume that we even give you Eldoret for free.
Yes.
Right? So those are the only cities. Now show me where your figures came from. Even if you're an idiot, you understand what I'm talking about. And we are not idiots.
Thank you, sir.
That is why when somebody tells you about dialogue, you say, dialogue about what?
I know.
Like, what do you want me to dialogue about? It's like somebody came with HIV. They have infected me. Now you say, how do I dialogue with this person? This is murder. I mean, what is there to dialogue? They gave it to me knowing that they had HIV. They didn't tell me. Now they have murdered me. Now I have to go negotiate what with this person? I kill him.
Yes, General.
Yes. I mean, really. And to tell you the truth, it is allowed in law. Yes. If you kill this person, you go to court, you say manslaughter.
Yes.
Yeah, self-defense. What did you expect me to do? What is there to understand? So this is the crux of the matter. You break it down like that and you say, look, I've gone through the servers. By the way, we have the results. We didn't make them up. So all I've asked them, okay, these are the figures. Show me yours. It's simple. Go open the server, show me your figures. Let's compare them. Let's call ICT experts. I'm not. Let's audit the system. The fingerprints are all there. They can see the changes. If they have not been changed, we can see. If this audit process, forensic audit process, proves that you won, fine, we concede and we leave this Lunga dance for liberation. And then you can continue to be president. That's all. This illegitimate exercise they had on October 26th was not an election. 27 constituencies did not take part. And Kumira did not work.
Yes.
3.4 million people showed up to vote for Uhuru Kenyatta out of 20 million. These 20 million, more than 17 million had participated just 2 months ago. Show me where they went. And they are in the Republic of Kenya. Show me why they did not show up to vote for you.
Yes.
And you are the one controlling the army, the police, the civil service, the resources. You could have shipped all of them to the polling stations. But you didn't. You couldn't, because they did not vote for you. Because they voted with their feet. They said, our candidate is not on the ballot. We are not going. What evidence do you need? What is so difficult to understand? There's no law there. It's called common sense. I've studied law. So even law they can't bring to me. Because law only understands logic. If it is illogical, it is internally inconsistent, and there is a contradiction, it cannot be legal. Because law only understands logic. So if you can explain it to me logically, consistently, reasonably, so that an objective, neutral person, not controlled by bias or influenced by anything exterior, can make a determination, it is Raila Amolo Odinga. I mean, what else do you want? Now, if you are still not convinced, so logic does not convince you, you have refused. Mr. Miguna, whatever you say, I'm not going to be convinced. There are people like that. Fine. You will tell me, look at the evidence. I'm not looking. Look at the reason. I'm not looking. Look at the logic. I'm illogical. Fine. You have refused. You are a 15th century Stone Age man. Fine. Let's go for another election under a transformed IBC with an open server, even if we forget the August 8th. So let's forget about them. So these people, the court said, the Supreme Court said, had committed illegalities and irregularities. Let's remove them. This system that they are saying had been infiltrated, either we audit it or revamp it. Let's even bring neutral experts from elsewhere to take care of this electronic system. A neutral experts are agreeable to both sides. We can find them. They are there in the world. And then let's see who wins. They refuse. Then they use the gun to kill children. Then they batter women and rape them. Then they kill all manner of people. Then they say, we are going to take it by force. Eh? Who is a military president right now? He's not a civilian president. He's not a civilian president. He is president by force through the barrel of the gun. That is what he's doing. Now tell me if that has happened. And by the way, even when I was abducted and detained and kept there, and 7 court orders they refused to obey, they refused to take me to court because they are scared that if you are scared of Mandela's 1964 Rivonia speech, just wait until they take me to court. I told them, please take me to court, take me to court, take me to court, charge me with treason. Charge me. They couldn't. They were too scared to take me to court. Because who is going to face me? Tell me who. Githu, piece of cake. So who they were going to bring? Kariuki, piece of chicken. So we're going to bring Maraga? I don't know. Bring him. Take me to court. They have refused. Can you imagine a government that cannot take a civilian to court? I don't have an army. I don't have a police force. When they came to my home, I didn't even have a gun. But these guys cannot take me to court. So when I say they are illegitimate, they are truly illegitimate.
Yes.
There is no legitimate government that cannot take a civilian to court. They say I'm a threat to national security. So ask them, does Miguna have a criminal record? No. Never ever. Even in 1987, they did the same thing. They kept me in Communicado for 3 weeks. Then they released me, expelled me from the university. Then when I crossed to Tanzania, they canceled my passport. They thought that would prevent me from traveling. I came to Canada. That's what I was telling them. I mean, I don't need a passport to fly.
Yes.
You just have to let me go and I will find my way somewhere. Kumbe, this is for what? Yeah. Huh? You know, they don't even know when they canceled my passport. They've been changing. 1986, 1987, 1988, they don't know. And yet they have the records. Then they say, oh, I became a Canadian in 1986. I was at the National Youth Office in Gilgit doing terminates before I went to the university. I went to the university in August 1986. So how was I a Canadian citizen and I come from Apondo village and I had not been beyond Nairobi? They refused to allow me to go to a conference in Cuba saying that, Mr. Miguna, that's what they were telling me in Nyayo House. Why do you want to go to Cuba? You want to go and train to be a boxer? That's what they asked me. Say, no, I'm going to a student conference. They were so scared they could not even give me a passport in 1987. So they cancelled it. I left. United Nations, very beautiful. They gave me a nice green traveling document. And I took my flight from Jan Smuts International Airport in South Africa with a stopover in Nairobi. A stopover in Nairobi, London, Toronto. Went there express. Came on the 25th. Arrived on a Saturday. On Monday, I was lining up at the University of Toronto. I want admission. Admitted on the spot. Wow. 18 months later, I had my first class degree. I was going to law school. Hello? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You cannot do anything. Because I said I figured it out. So let's tell you what we figured out this time. And I don't care that NIS is here and they're gathering information. This is publicly available. Yes. So number one, and let's be very clear, I belong to NRM Kenya.
Thank you.
Not NRM Uganda. The thing they banned is National Resistance Army in Uganda, or movement in Uganda. It's a ruling party in Uganda. That's the one they banned. They didn't say NRM Kenya. They said NRM. That's Museveni's party. I have nothing to do with that. And I already got an order to that extent. The judge said this thing, you can't ban it. How do you ban a movement? It's not registered. How do you say you gazette something you did not gazette? See stupidity. So they think we didn't know what we were doing. 5 years ahead of you. All right?
Yes.
And I've already registered it in Canada, legal. Whoa. And I'm collecting money legally. Yes. What are you going to do? I have a bank account. I have the incorporation certificate. I have everything. You know, and we are doing a website. I'm not going to ban an idea. So we said they stopped Jaramogi. All right? They killed Tom Boyer. They killed Erwin Skorek. They killed the Uko. They have killed so many people, but mostly Luos. That's the truth. So let nobody bring your konyoko. It's the truth.
Yes. It's true.
Because the intention is to annihilate dominate, suppress, make people surrender. They want to turn Kenya into Israel.
Yes.
All right? And over our dead bodies.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Over our dead bodies. And they don't have enough graves to bury us.
No.
And they don't have, no, that is an English expression. All right? It's not meant to be understood literally. So I'm not saying we are dying. I'm here, I'm not dead.
You're not dying, General.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
You will leave.
they stopped Jaramogi. They stopped Raila 4 times. So we said, look, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, Raila Odinga, these people have blocked the democratic route to power. They did, with the guns. You cannot get power through a political process, through voting, through a democratic election. Forget about NASA. Because NASA was formed to give you power through the ballots. And they have put a roadblock to that. We form a movement. A movement does not give you power through the ballot. So we are not interested in the ballot right now. We are not. No apologies. We are not going to have another election, not now. Until we liberate Kenya. Until we get rid of these guys.
Yes.
And we can only get rid of them through a movement on the streets. You see, a political party must call a rally for purposes of mobilizing voters to go and vote. So it tells you this is the manifesto. When the voting time comes, line up and vote for me. If you do that in Kenya, you are stupid, you are naive, you are delusional, you are crazy. Because number one, the determination of a winner is not through the ballot. It's through the barrel of a gun. Yes. And whoever the winner is has already been predetermined. They already know who they want to be president in 2022. Yes. So talking about 2022 is rubbish. We don't want to hear about it.
Yes.
We want to deal with the 2017 so that we give NASA, whatever configurations they have to seek power, will be able to have an equal chance to win. So that they can have a free, fair, credible election for purposes of deciding who wins.
Yes.
But you can't do that by calling a convention. You can't. A convention is like this meeting. At the end of the day, we read resolutions. How does that give you power? You're not going to do that by saying, oh, let us secede. That is another stupid, hopeless idea. All right? I'll tell you why it is a stupid, hopeless idea. A dream that will never be realized. If you have to secede, you have to be prepared to take up arms. Right? Because there is something called Kenya Defense Forces. And there is something called Kenya Police Service. With all these other things. They all are armed, they have guns, and they're going to kill you. So unless you're taking up arms, don't talk to us about secession. Are you ready? How many of you are willing to sell your house here, leave your children here, or take them to Nairobi, take arms to fight Uhuru Kenyatta? Probably zero. So don't tell me about that, because you're not prepared for it. The only thing you talk about is something you are prepared to do. Don't preach. I'm not interested in preachers. All right? I'm interested in action. And then, even if you're prepared to do that, it will take you 50 years. That's how long it takes to fight a liberation war in every country, if you know history. So no, there is a shorter, quicker, more efficient route. We take out 2 demagogues from State House.
Yes.
Why am I going to fight the Kenya Defense Forces, which 60% of it is us, and they support us? The military is divided, the police is divided. The same people that voted for Raila Odinga includes the army, includes the police. So they are divided. So why are you fighting them? So that is not a logical resolution to a problem. It is not a military formation, because if you are prepared for a military formation, it means you must defeat them. Uganda, it happened because Tanzania invaded Uganda. So there was a bigger army attacking. Riek Machar had an army and has fought 30 years guerrilla warfare. Where is he? In South African prison. Prison essentially because he can't move around. And he was a vice president, and he was a guerrilla leader, and he has fought for 30 years. And you are thinking that Raila, who is 73, is going to spend another 50 years fighting as if he's immortal. He's going to die. So anybody thinking Raila is going to be a guerrilla leader wants him to die fighting dreams of his own. And I'm not interested in that. I'm a practical man. Very practical. And if something is complicated, I leave it. It has to be simple. It has to be understood. If I can go and explain it to my 13-year-old girl, then I know this thing makes sense. Yes. If I can't, forget it. These things cannot be complicated. So the simplest is this. There is no army on earth that has shot itself through 1 million people. There is none. There is none in history since antiquity. None. It did not happen in Iran when the Shah took off and the Ayatollah took over. It did not happen in the Philippines when Marcos was overthrown. It did not happen anywhere. It has not happened anywhere. Yeah, so it's not going to happen in Kenya.
Yes.
So people giving you examples of Syria are again delusional. Because Syria has armed, trained guerrilla force that is fighting against a standing army. So when they are bombed, you're just bombing another army. The world looks the other side. But if today you went to Kisumu, you went to a village and bombed it, the government goes tomorrow. The UN will call a Security Council meeting and they will declare war on Uhuru. And he will go tomorrow.
Woo!
He will go just like that. Because you can't bomb civilians. If it happens, you're gone. So we must use this. That is the formula. Bring 5 million people on the streets, keep them there until these people leave. You understand? The army will join the people. Because when the people are on the street and you go on there and you're wearing uniform, you don't know whether your wife is among the people. You don't know whether your girlfriend is among the people. You don't know whether your neighbor is among the people. You don't know if your mother is hiding in there. You can't shoot. You're immobilized. That's how human psychology works. I come into a crowd and I can't see my wife, I'm not shooting. I want to go home and sleep, man. Yeah. I'm not going to shoot my wife. You know, you have to be crazy. You have to think about home. And these guys think about home. When they go to serve in Iraq or Iran, the only thing they're thinking, I'm going to go to see my woman. They're going to think about their girlfriend, their wife. That's all they're dreaming about every day. Work with their minds. Yeah. So these are human beings, wired like human beings. They are not going to shoot you. That is why I dared them. I told them, okay, come on January 30th. Just come. Let's see. Did they come? You can't. 1 million people will dare you with their bare hands. So NRM was formed. And by the way, it is His Excellency Raila Odinga who gave me NRM. I did not take it by force. Even though the media announces, shall declare general. Removed me from being the general of NRM. Because it was an arrangement. Because we agreed. NRM is going to level the field. NRM is going to take Uhuru home. And then after that, there will be 3 things that can happen. This is, I can give you this and you can cash it at the bank. 1, Uhuru can decide to take the plane and go wherever he wants. And he goes into exile. That might happen. Because bigger people have done that, bigger people than Uhuru. What I mean is that if a man was a full general in the army, by the way, a general is not a joke. For you to arise, even if you're illiterate, for you to rise up to the top of the military is not a joke. You don't do that sleeping. Yeah. The uniform means something, the medals. They don't just get it because they want. They prove themselves in the field, operationally. Somebody may not be intellectually sharp, but in the field, the people who work with it know what it's made of. All right? I mean, took off. Mobutu was a general in the army. He took off. Bokassa took off. All the dictators, even Botha took off when Mandela is sitting in jail. Umkhonto weSizwe sent them away. So, in South Africa, it is Umkhonto that brought freedom, the spear of the nation, not the ANC. Mandela came out of jail, Mandela became president. Raila remains wherever he wants to be, ODM, whatnot, I don't care. As long as he leaves us alone as NRM to work. Then at the end, he comes and takes power, I don't care. But this system, this despotism must come to an end. That's right. And it is not going to come to an end when we sit, eat hamburgers, and talk rubbish.
No.
Yeah. Like you're doing here in North America. And he asking me, oh, give us assurance that NRM is working with NASA. Kume, what is your problem? What exactly do you want? So that harmony will bring you what? Hamburgers? Or it will take you to side out? So if you work harmoniously in NASA, what is it that it brings you? Because that does not bring you freedom.
They're cowards.
You see, NASA, what has NASA done since elections? Press conference. Kenya. We want to state, so how is that going to give you power? That is rubbish.
Yes.
I don't buy that. I'm not part of that.
Yes.
I will not join that. Yes. These people, the only language they understand is force.
Yes.
Yeah. Force. And you must demonstrate it on the streets. The youth is ready. They lack leadership.
Yeah.
We must take this leadership and move to the next level. This youth is not scared. I was there when Raila came from the US. We welcomed him. The youth draped themselves around our vehicles.
Yes.
And they were shot there.
They have nothing to lose. They have lost it all.
For me, if we can't remember that, if that cannot steal us, a youth that had no hope of being president, these people were not going to be anything. They knew. So why did they die? Why? And you're so scared you can't even stand up. You can't even come to Uhuru Park. Oh, they threw a grenade.
Shame.
You saw me walking here. Is there a bodyguard? Do I have security right now? Was there a bodyguard with me? So how come I went to Uhuru Park just walking and somebody cannot come from his house and go to Uhuru Park? And I went. And nobody's looking for him.
Shame.
And that is what you expect me to work with. Oh, we're going to be a team player with what? Which team? No, you see, have it here. So you are telling me that, as I told you when I was young, I'm left on the other side. There's nobody to take me across the river. I want to go. I'm working it out here. You're telling me I carry somebody to go across so that he can drown me? I'm going to cross this river.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not going with you. You're a baggage. I'm going with somebody like me who is ready to jump in and walk under the river up to the other end.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
It is not a joke.
No, it's not.
Because when I did that, I was ready to die.
Yeah.
Are they ready?
Yeah. Good question.
Let me tell you. Before January 30th, Jacob, myself, and another person I will not say, had a meeting with the youth of Nairobi. Jacob met briefly and left and told me to chair. And I told them 3 things and I left. I told them, and this is what I'm going to tell you, there are only 3 things. Once you resolve it here, you can come with me. 1, you must answer the question. Are you ready to die? Yes. You know, it is like a customs declaration. You put yes. I say fine. Go ahead, answer the second question. If you put no, you are remaining. I'm not going with you. We are not proceeding, even if you call me a lone ranger. Because what am I going with you for? Where are we going?
Yes.
You understand? There are treacherous routes up there, and if you don't answer that question yes, you're a liability. And it doesn't matter to me that you are angry that I called you a liability. Because I'm going to repeat it 1,000,000 times. Liability, liability, liability. Publicly.
Yes. Yes.
Even if Jacob denies it, I'm going to say, liability, Jacob, liability, Jacob, liability. Yes. I'm not going to have 3 months meeting with you and you're a liability. That's how long it took me to get Jacob sworn in. And you tell me I cannot speak about these idiots? No, sir. No, sir. You can't speak about one simple thing for 3 months if your head is proper. Yeah. And that's how difficult it was. Going to convince them. Going to convince them. I talked until I could not talk anymore. Until I told Jacob, when you are ready, my friend, please call me. But I'm not coming for any more meetings. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. It's a complete waste of time and it is insane.
Yes. A waste of time.
So that's number 1. Number 2, and the answer must be yes. On that, I'm a dictator because the logic is simple. If you answer no, you are remaining. 2, are you ready to go to jail for life?
Yes.
You say yes, partner, let's go. 3, having answered 1, yes, 2, yes, are you ready to live in exile? Yes, you're a comrade. Take up your uniform, let's go. But it cannot be one. It cannot be exile only. That is a coward. The coward is running, right? It cannot be jail only. Then you're suicidal. Or the first one only. No, you can't just, I'm ready for death. No, then there's something wrong with you also. It has to be the 3 questions. Once my youth told me in Nairobi we are ready, you saw what happened on the 30th. Those boys were not paid. Those boys were not mobilized in terms of, oh, give us money. That's rubbish also. You're just sending your money into a deep pit, right? All we did is make uniforms, these things, make t-shirts, make hats. That's what we needed to do. Demonstrate your presence. But they were ready to go. They are ready to go now. They're ready to go now. Why do you think these guys will deport a useless man whom they say has no job and he's poor? That's what they call me, right? Miguna is unemployed, Miguna has no job, Miguna is poor. What can he do? So why are you deporting me? I mean, it makes no sense, right?
Right.
If I'm useless and I'm just a big talker and I will do nothing, so why are you scared? Let me just stay there. In fact, even if I go to Uhuru Park, call a rally, you know he's going to do nothing. Just leave me alone. But they know. I believe in Malcolm X's simple philosophy. Even Stephen, Malcolm X said, be nice, be respectful, be humble, obey the law, but if anybody touches you, send him to the cemetery. Thank you, I can take your question.
Wow, wow, wow. Let's appreciate General again, please. Let us appreciate it, let's appreciate it, let's appreciate it. Wow, wow. I would like to, at this moment, before we just do a Q&A, I want to appreciate Apostle Baraza, and he has been one of those people sincerely making effort to see that there is change in our country. Apostle Baraza is in the house, and he has been with us since we began the meeting, even on Friday when we were waiting for General. Now, please, let's get an order because we have just about half an hour to do the Q&A session. I would like to welcome Apostle to help me in this session, Q&A. I think he will pass the speaker to you. Just quickly let that question come forth. But before that comes forth, I want to say that as much as I'm in Washington, D.C., I am registering my membership to General. Are you doing the same? Okay, good. So we are all together. We are registering. Your ticks are 3 or 2 or 1? 3. All right, good. General Meskia, we are together. All right, so let's have the Q&A because we have very little time so that we can be together in this as we end.
Have they submitted the questions, or someone is going to be lifting their hand up or something? What's the order? Okay. Okay, I'll be passing the microphone to the General. So whoever has a question, just lift up your hand and hand it over to
I think what they should do, I get all the questions, then I answer at once. That way we finish.
Okay, yeah, we can go quickly. That is going to be fast. Dr. Nyango.
Why don't you give us a song I collect all this?
Okay. Pass the questions, please. Let's redeem time.
You don't have to ask, but if you have.
Can I pass? Oh, yes, please.
Yes, you don't have even to put your name. Just write the question and
Giving time to read the questions.
Okay, the first question is, what next for Musalia and Weta? I don't know. They have to answer that question for themselves, and I don't care. I honestly don't. Yeah, I care about the 30 million Kenyans who are ready for change. That I care about. I care about the millions of youth who are ready to transform society and end despotism. That I care about. I care about people like you who may be willing to donate resources to help NRM make that change happen. Because you know the only thing we don't have is finance. The boys are there, we are there, and the rich people and the despots are the ones who are holding everything. They are holding guns and they are holding money. And you need logistics, to be able to operate. You need to even be able to have a vehicle going around saying tomorrow you have to attend Uhuru Park. Just that. And of course you have to put fuel and you have to have that vehicle. So, I don't know and I don't care. 2, is there any way or any hope that the server will be open for scrutiny soon? The server will not be open unless or until we take power. That's the only way. These people will not open the server because that means signing their death sentence. And they will not do so. It's clear. All right? You can see what they do to protect access to the server. You know, there is a constitution that guarantees everyone the right to information. Remember when they were asked, Miguna ran for elections. What did he write in the IBC form? They released it within the second day. They said he's a Kenyan, but he did not answer any other question. But you know, there was only one question: are you a Kenyan or not? You answer yes, you produce evidence, and I did, and they cleared. The people that the IBC sent to them not to clear, they cleared. People like Sonko, who has never gone to school and was criminal record, those ones they cleared. They cleared Samboja in Taita Taveta, whom KU has said this man did not graduate from us. They cleared. They cleared Osaka, who was charging 3 million for a wheelbarrow. That was clear. You understand? So you can see the priority. But now they are concerned about dual citizenship, which is in law, which is in the constitution, which all of you care about. In fact, sometimes I wonder, why do you support this guy, some of you? Like, I'm not saying in this room, but I'm saying Kenyan diaspora. How do you support someone who says that even for a passport application, they will charge you more, and some of you drive taxis, some of you cook. I'm not saying all of you. Some of you are professionals, but some of you are just doing normal jobs. But Uhuru, who is a billionaire thanks to his father stealing, is going to pay less money than you because you live in America. Is there logic to that? No. Because what informs it? So you lose some of your rights because of the location of your address. Which law is that? Anyway, is it true that Raila is in it for the money and not really about change and being the president? I mean, how do you ask that? He concedes often. Why? Well, he has not conceded now. And I told you, I've given a very clear statement here on what transpired before I rejoined Raila Odinga. And he has not betrayed it. He did not concede, he has not conceded, and he has said he wants electoral justice. Now, between the time these people stole elections until now, that has been the statement. If he took money from these people, I don't think he would be saying that. So I think that is a mischievous question. Because between electoral justice and this hypothetical, which is not grounded on fact, what do you go with? Because we need electoral justice right now. It's not just for Raila Odinga, by the way, it's not for him. It's for all of us. Because if we don't have this thing done, then even our children have no chance. So what kind of society will we be constructing? This thing we're doing for ourselves. Please clear for us the rumors, propaganda, and myths surrounding dual citizenship. I don't know, you have to be clear. But let me explain something. Number one, dual citizenship is in the Constitution. That's right. Article 16. Dual citizenship by birth cannot be cancelled, cannot be withdrawn, cannot be lost, because you didn't get it through a legal instrument. You didn't get it through a certificate. It is not the birth certificate that gives you citizenship. It evidences citizenship. It's just a piece of paper that proves that you are. The passport is a travel document. So it has nothing to do with citizenship. It happens that only a citizen gets it, but you don't have to have it because you're a citizen. My mother didn't have an ID, Ipande, did not have a birth certificate. but nobody doubted her citizenship. All right? So you don't need it to be a citizen. Now, it is a birthright. You get it because you are born there. That is what gives it to you. So you have to die to cease being a citizen. So it's a birthright that can only be withdrawn by death. And I'm not dead and you are not dead. So until you die, you are a citizen of the Republic of Kenya. The government does not vest it. The government simply affirms it. It's like saying, are you a human being because a document says you are? No. You don't have to be told you're a human being. The same thing with citizenship. Nobody needs to tell you that. So I don't need Uhuru Kenyatta or Matiang'i Orengo to tell me, Miguna, you're a citizen.
Yes.
Then two, there is a second or secondary way you lose citizenship. You can choose to renounce it because we have freedom of choice and association. You may decide, I'm going to say, I hate you, Kenya. I'm stopping being a citizen. I'm going through a legal process to stop it. And you go, you apply, and you sign. It is evidence. You're given a certificate of renunciation. I never did that. So if you are saying I did, prove it. Baby, prove it. Prove it, prove it. Bring the evidence and I will surrender. They can't because it doesn't exist. All right? Now let me tell you another wrinkle in this legal conundrum. You can reclaim it at will. Which means I can wake up and say, now I want to be a citizen, and it cannot be denied. That's the law. So which means that as they arrest me, as they are planning to deport me, I can say, you know what? Now I want to be a citizen. And because I was there by birth, you give it back to me. Just like that.
Wow.
That's the law. That is why they can't win any case in court against me. They can't. Because those judges also went to school properly, and when they look at the law, they say, you're right, my friend. How do they prove you wrong? We are trying to help these people, but we can't. That's what the judges are saying. It's not because they like me. They're just telling the illegitimate government, no, what you've done is wrong, and we're not going to help you in something that will make us look stupid. What kind of assistance do you need from us to enable us to help you achieve our dream?
Yes. Wow.
I need two things. As I said, I'm very clear. One, we need resources. Resources we need for logistics. We need to be able to fight these people without backing down. So that if they shoot somebody, we can take that person to the hospital. Even in terms of just transporting them. It means that to get people on the street, we have to get them there. To keep them there, we will have water. We will have toilets. We will have food. We will have paraphernalia. We will have dance. We will have music. We will have theater. It will look like nobody has expected, and that needs money. Then we need you to stay alert, to disseminate our information, remain focused, and put as much pressure and make as much noise as you possibly can. That's not too much to ask for. Nobody is asking you, as I say, pick up and go. Huh? Wear a uniform, take a gun. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking for two things only. One you do without money, the other one is money. Because for many years, you've been sending money and I don't think you can have account for it. Many of you have supported causes that you cannot account for. And it is time we build integrity as the centerpiece of action. You judge me on my record. Diaspora, on January 25th, sent me 400,000 Kenya shillings. That is $4,000 to mobilize people. I thank them from the bottom of my heart, and we saw the evidence at Uhuru. I don't think, and my budget was only 2.5 million. They gave me 400,000. I thanked them and I told them, I'm going to do it even if there is no money. And we did it. Now these guys were giving millions. I don't know where it is going. Maybe press conferences. They go Sun and Sun. They go Kempinski. They go Intercon. I cannot even buy tea there. It's too expensive. But that's where they go. That's where your money goes. So you make a decision. You either support press conferences or you support action. It's up to you. Who is to take the position of Kalonzo Musyoka? Why do you want somebody to take his position? You have a president, that's what you wanted, right? Yeah. Now it is up to the president to choose his deputy if he wants. Right. And you can't force him to do that. There was a time Moi governed or ruled for a long time without Saitoti and any other person, and there was no problem. What do you need this man for? Please, don't kill us with laughter. What value does he add? No, true. Uhuru Park was full. We had millions. There were Kambas there. There were lawyers there. There were Kisis there. There were people from the coast. There were Masais there. There were everybody there. It was not just Luos. And they came there for one president. Who doubts that Raila is the president? Raila is not the president of Luos. That would be stupidity. Yeah. I mean, let's be serious. On January 30th, he disqualified himself from anything.
That's right. Watermelon.
Doctor, after January 26th, what's the way forward? I think I've given that. There will be no election. There will be no need for contest. There will be no need for NASA. There will be no need for ODM if this thing is not resolved. And it's not going to be resolved through a party, through a press conference. It's going to be a movement. And right now, there is only one movement. Tell me another one. Because there's Mungiki, that's a militia. There's Chinkororo, that's a militia. So where is the movement? There is only one movement in Kenya. They said they ban it, but it's not banned. The judge cancelled the banning, and they banned the Ugandan variant of it. All right? So there is one movement, and there is no contradiction. Raila Odinga is the field marshal and the general. I don't need anything else.
Thank you.
Now, when they kept you for 5 days, did it cross your mind that you weren't going to come out alive? I told you, I resolved that question. The first question, are you ready to die? Every time they came, I said, shoot. Yeah. By the way, sometimes they thought, I told them I'm ready. I didn't complain. And, thankfully, I converted more than 60% of them by the time we were done. They kept changing them. They bring this, they remove. They bring this. Because I was giving them very good unadulterated education, and they were very happy. There was a time one even left his gun where I was, and he said, I'm going to buy you a newspaper. And he bought me a newspaper. When he came back, he said, I don't know what these people are planning. But anyway, by the end of it, they removed them. Then they removed another one. They kept on removing them. I was happy. The flying squad actually treated me with a lot of respect. Yeah. The ones who mistreated me were at Lari police station, and that's where they kept me most of the time. They were basically just tribalists. Yeah? But I'm unbreakable.
Yes.
You can try. You can try.
Yes.
I resolved. I'm going to die one day. Everybody is going to die.
But not now.
I'm going to die on my feet, not on my knees. And I'm not going to die in surrender, in supplication. And I'm not going to beg anybody for anything. They kept food from me, I never begged them for food. They kept me in places you could not sleep, I never begged them for anything. They kept toilets from me, I never begged them for anything. I never allowed them to dehumanize me. When I appeared in Kajiado, you would not have known I was there for 5 days. I refused to allow them to present me like some mascot, some pit. somebody walking in pit, scared. No, I was just walking. They're telling me you get into the car very comfortably. I don't ask them, where are you taking me? Where should I? Take me anywhere you want. That was my attitude. Of course, I asked them to take me to court. Of course, I told them that I wanted to see my lawyer and everything else, but nothing else. Between Kajiado to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, I just kept quiet. I was just smiling. Because these are idiots that are running left, right, and they don't know what to do. Yeah, and are your family scared with the path you've taken? I'm lucky that my children are like me. All of them.
Yes.
My children are exactly like me. Unbowed, unscared. They believe in me 100%, maybe 1,000%. The only person who is scared is my wife. All right? And the only person who does not want me to go back is my wife. But my children go, Daddy. It's true. You know, so what can I do? Well, she tells me, because they don't know, they're just children. No. They're just like me.
Yes.
If I figured it out that young, they must also have figured it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come, baby, come.
People are getting despaired. How do we excite people back and energize them? What are you talking about? They killed 3 people in Ahero when I was taken in. Does that look like despair? Did you see that people were in despair? When I was arrested, and this is important, I had formed a national NRM coordinating team. I actually took up most of the NASA coordinators. They are my coordinators. National. So they're part of the resistance movement. But with the 2 caveats. If you are a thief, I'm not taking you. And if you are compromising, I'm not taking you. So I vetted them. But they gave me their coordinators to vet. So I vetted them and I've taken the ones I want. All right?
Yes.
So right now I have a national network.
Good job.
But did you see good work they did? They followed these buggers all over the central province. Oh, you didn't see them?
Yeah.
The young men and women, they were there.
Okay.
They were there at my home, and they were not scared. Did you see the women that went in to the home, and the guns were there, and they were not scared? Those are NRM soldiers, and they were completely unarmed.
Yeah, they say killers.
Then they went to Githunguri. Then they went to Lani. Some went to Ruiru. Some went to Kiambu. They were all over central province. And when these people took me to Kajiado, within 1 hour, they were in Kajiado. And they filled the courtroom.
Wow.
Come on.
Yes.
What are you going to ask for? I can't ask for anything better than that.
That's right.
And they never complained. They never told NASA, give us money. You saw the politicians were hiding. They were not. And when the cases, because now I've been watching the YouTubes, because I didn't have access to the newspapers except when they took me to Kajiado on the 6th. And I didn't talk to anybody, and nobody knew where I was, and I didn't know where I was, and whatever. But they filled the courtroom in Kajiado. Kajiado is very far from Nairobi with the bad traffic. Those people left and came there and filled the courtroom, and they were stoning the vehicles.
Wow.
In Kajiado. What else are you going to ask for? It's not going to happen for Uhuru Kenyatta.
No.
That I can tell you for free. If we arrested Uhuru Kenyatta and took to Kisumu, nobody will stone the vehicle. They will be dancing on the streets and celebrating that we caught a thief, we caught a demagogue, we caught a despot. Yes, they will be eating nyamachoma. That's the truth. I was very happy. That is what you are ready to die for. Because you're dying for a cause. And when you have people like that around you, fearless like that, you are happy that you're in good company. Yes. That's the difference between a movement and a party that is empty. Where people go to a press conference and you look, there is no heart, there is no passion, there is nothing. These people are just mascot robots sitting there and reading statements. So dry, so
today, we are going, I mean, there's nothing. Right?
Right.
Anyway, what message would you want to pass the Kenyan youth in diaspora in regards to Kenya's state of affairs? I think I have already answered that. What advice can you give to many Africans whose rights are violated in the US? Fight for your rights. That's simple. If you don't want to fight, surrender. Why Mudavadi Kalonzo Wetangula paid by Jubilee to boycott? I don't know. Ask them. You voted for Uhuru and didn't have a running mate as a governor. Is it not a sign of bad working relationship? Why? So Kalonzo now, you blame Raila that he didn't show up at Uhuru Park. Because that's what happened to me with my running mate. So they buy somebody, you blame the person who has not been bought. Is that common sense?
Doesn't make sense.
That's not working. So I have to work with everybody, even the ones who have been bought. And you know, you can't stop people from being bought. Yeah. And they're bought every day. I can't prevent that. It's just human nature. It's like waking up and your relationship with your partner have come to irreconcilable differences they have developed. And you are insisting it must be your problem. And maybe the other party has found another partner, but you're blaming yourself. Why should I?
No.
I don't play those games. And then voting. Voting for Uhuru. Yes, I did. Because I was angry with Raila. Very angry. My wife is still angry. But I resolved one thing. By the way, they approached me and they wanted me to work for them. I told them no. Let me tell you, I have red lines that cannot be crossed. All right? When I disagreed with Raila, I did not tell somebody that you can kill him and I will not complain. I never said that. I never said that you can steal his election and I will not complain. I never said that. Because whatever disagreement had nothing to do with elections. Do you understand? It had something to do with integrity in the office. And certain things that happened that I've already documented. But then you come to terms with that. I'll give you examples. If you blame me for supporting Uhuru in 2013, how about Raila, who was detained by Moi for 8.5 years and went and worked for Moi? How come you're not blaming him? You understand?
Yes, sir.
And yet, after working for Moi, he disagreed with Moi and left. But you're not blaming him either. Jaramogi called Jomo Kenyatta a second god. Kenyatta betrayed him. He wrote a book about Kenyatta. Nobody blamed him. They just said Jaramogi was telling the truth. But they agreed at some point. He worshipped Kenyatta at some point. Mine was disappointment. And when you are working in a political environment in Kenya, you are sometimes made to choose. If, for example, I was fighting for Raila very hard in PNU, all right? And everybody knows. Raila has confessed, Orengo has confessed. They have said, I streamlined the coalition. The only reason why people felt uncomfortable, they said if Raila became president in 2013, I would become so powerful. So you had to cut me up. You had to chop me up because I would be ahead of the succession. Was that my problem? That was not my problem. But that's what they did. Jubilee convinced them, PNU at the time, that if they chopped me up, all right, they would help Raila become president. They bought that. So they dealt with me. There's nothing I did. Ask Raila, what did Miguna do? He told me nothing. So I have nothing to apologize for. Because at that time, I have to decide. There are 2 elephants in front of you. They both want your blood. How do you survive? You jump on top of another one and you leave the one that is trying to kill you. That's what you do. I mean, I'm intelligent. PNU does not want me. Now ODM must stand against me. What do? I fight with both of them. And then I die. No.
You jump.
Yes. That is what it was called, a strategic jump. Just like Raila was mad with Nyachai in 2002 and he said Kibaki Tosha. Has anybody blamed him? They signed an MOU in Serena. By the time he reached Uhuru Park, he backed Kibaki. Has anybody blamed him for that? No, because you have to make a decision. Now, when the time came, now I have to make a decision on principle. What do I do in a situation where these people are institutionalizing the culture of impunity and are making electoral justice impossible? I side with the winner. Even if Raila was the one who did the same thing Uhuru did, I would side with Uhuru. Because I would not allow anybody to institutionalize electoral injustice. Because I believe in electoral justice. Now they did something wrong for Raila. I was not going to keep a personal grudge for good and let an innocent man be killed. I'm not going to do it. So I refused. They promised me jobs. They promised me money. I said, unfortunately, you can't buy integrity.
Yes.
And right now,
thank you.
Right now, I would not do it. I would not do it under the threat of death. I will not do it. Because what will my children think of me? That I did it for money? That I was scared? That I was... What is it that I will be doing it for? So that is the answer. And really, if you look at it, there is nothing to explain. Because on the 30th, who proved himself?
That's true.
Because ask yourself the question, how many lawyers are in NASA? Very good lawyers. So how come they did not swear Raila in? How come? Ask yourself, how did I end up there? If you're saying these things. Why would Raila trust me to be the one swearing him in if he doesn't trust me? You understand?
Yes.
It was a question of who is going to take the risk. And there was nobody.
They chickened out.
Literally. All right? So, I don't have to prove myself to anybody. Who among you here can risk going to jail for life or being hanged for treason? Not because if you succeed you will be president, somebody else will. And there's no guarantee that he will give anything to you. And Raila didn't pay me. You all know Raila doesn't pay anybody. No, it's true.
We don't need to be paid.
Raila has not given me a cent. I don't have to be given anything.
The truth.
But what I'm telling you is this. So I'm not paid. There's no job, because if I want a job, the people to give me a job is on the other side.
That's right.
If I want money, the people to give me money is on the other side. So why am I doing it?
You're right, sir.
And then you risk going to jail for life or being killed. And who was detained in Communicado? How come when I came out I did not join them? Which is what Kalwale and the rest have done. So please, don't disrespect me by asking me questions like this.
Yes, thank you.
Because you have not proven yourself, and you have no right, and you have no authority to question my integrity. Because what have you done for Kenya? Really, something that somebody can touch and smell. What is it? Okay, if you voted for this, NRM is an idea, not party. Why have you single-handedly registered it? So what do you want me to do? If it has not been registered, so I stand there and wait for somebody to do it? Why? You know some of these things. So it's like, okay, so constructing a house is a good idea. So, but I want a house. So I have to wait for my neighbors to build their house before I can build mine. And then I prove myself that I'm so humble because I waited for my neighbors. Because I did not want to go fast. I have no apology to make for registering.
Thank you.
What did you want me to do? Let it be amorphous there, it is nothing, we cannot get money, we cannot get organized so that you can dismantle us. No, sir, no. Yeah. And that, are you trying to redeem yourself? Redeem what?
For what?
I've fought since 87. What have you done?
Thank you.
What are you?
And I'm a barrister and solicitor, so I'm well educated. I'm licensed to practice law in Kenya and here, right?
And you can travel.
But you're sitting eating hamburgers and asking me this question. Huh? Pick up, buy your ticket, go to Kenya, do what I'm doing, then come and ask me questions.
Yeah.
This this energy and organization we are seeing from NRM, why was NASA unable to organize itself sufficiently for the election? So were you in NASA? Were you in Kenya? Do you know that they did not organize? If they did not organize, how come they won? Come on, man.
That's true.
Raila Odinga won. So how do you win without being organized?
Right.
I mean, some of these things are just illogical. You are taking it as an assumed fact that if somebody won an election, which is highly contested, against a sitting president, he must have been well organized.
Yes.
Does it require nuclear physicists to interpret that for anybody?
No.
If treason swearing in Raila Odinga, why did they not arrest Raila, for he was the main culprit in the swearing in? Did Raila swear himself in? You know, some of you, honestly. But now the question is, who swore Raila in?
It's so fun.
And let's see the Lunga Lunga dance of liberation.
I'll make a song out of Lunga Lunga.
How can he be sure that the donations we are providing will reach you and your team? Number one, if you are donating here, you are giving me the money. So of course it is reaching me. So I don't know what that question is. It's like, I'm donating to you, but how am I sure it's reaching you? So it's reaching me. And if it reaches me, it reaches my team. Because I don't steal. You can go and look. If I was a thief, that is the first thing, that's the easiest thing to arrest you for. You saw what they did to Kedel. Because it's greedy. They dangle something and you move. I don't. You dangle and I say, okay, so what are you dangling? I say, please take it back.
Right.
Yeah. I can't. They have tried everything. You think they have not tried? They have tried money, it has failed. They've tried women, it has failed. I don't drink, I don't go out. They have tried everything. I am as quickly clean as a weasel. So they will not get anywhere with those things. Because I'm not stupid. I process it, I process it, I process it. I'm not saying I'm perfect. All right? Nobody is. But I'm better than them 1,000 times.
Yes.
So I can see them very far.
Yes.
All right? The last one. We have a PayPal account. All right? And I think it is somewhere. Can I get that form? So I'll tell you what it is. Because we have it. It's been set up. And I've distributed it. I think some of you have seen it. So for some of you who cannot make that donation, so let's say PayPal. I just want to read it so that you can. Yes. So it is National Resistance Movement Kenya Inc. It uses PayPal https www.paypal.me/NRMKE.
Thank you.
So, for those who cannot make donations now, for those who want to make donations now but want to continue making donations, or for those who want to make donations later, that is an easy way to do it. And we would be very grateful if you did it, because whatever you give helps. Yeah. As I say, we are not relying on money. We are relying on our youth. We just would like to appeal for logistical support so that we can do what we want to do. And I can tell you, I had promised Kenyans that I was going to start organizing bonfires of Uhuru Kenyatta's portraits. That will happen. That will happen.
Yes.
Because nothing can stop me.
We are looking forward.
There's no law that can stop me from doing it. It is called speech. When I ban a flag or I ban somebody's picture, I'm allowed to do that. because I'm the one who bought it. I can ban it. It is my property. Yeah, a portrait I've bought, I can ban. People who have bought portraits can bring them and I can help them ban. Yes. So if you're scared of banning, I will organize so that I can ban them myself. And that will happen. Then we will put up Railas. Okay, Raila Odinga, the president of Kenya.
Yes.
Then people will buy.
Yes.
Kumbe, you own me, you own ideas, and you own printing plants, and you are saying Raila Odinga's pictures cannot be sold. Which law? So, that is a campaign that will continue.
Thank you.
All right? And that campaign will catch fire. There will be excitement. That will mobilize people, and we will need money to print those things. Then we will need money to do this. This fist was one that was developed by the MPs. They didn't know this is the Black Power salute, not this one. So ours is this, not this, not this. This is a punch. This is not power.
Oh, is this where?
Ours is power, not punch. We are not punching anybody. We are taking power. So we will need t-shirts, we will need pants, we will need jackets to be able to mobilize and to be able to generate funds so that this thing can catch fire. It will not end now, because even if we are able to correct today, it can recur. And we want this movement to develop, become strong, to prevent this from recurring. Once things are stabilized and we have a thriving democracy, then the movement ends and we all can be happy and we go home. Do you, NRM, have a time span within which you want to collect funds and start implementing our agenda? We wanted funds as soon as yesterday. NASA, fortunately for them, although they have not done much since August 8th, have parties. And they have political parties funds, they have MPs that donate, and you know, parties, MPs, whatnot, they are rich people and things like that. But this is a ground up, a movement, a grassroots thing, with no real deep-pocketed funder. All right? It's a movement. And we don't want to be contaminated. Because if we wanted to be contaminated, we go to two rich men and they give me a lot of money, and then we start doing things, then they own us. The more we have, the Obama style, $20, $50, $100, $200, $1,000, whatnot, and the more you give, the more you expand, the more you grow, the more you become strong. That is the formula for any intelligent person. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your support.
Yes. Thank you, General. Thank you so much. I think some of us are not very used to that kind of general talk. And we are getting shaken as we listen. But thank you very much. You have charged us. We are truly grateful for your time. And I want us to quickly move to a very short session. And I'm asking for all our cooperation that in this session, let us be very quick. You have heard how General would like our support, first and foremost, so that we can have the youth do the job, okay? So I'm going to start. And today, because General is here, and I have registered myself in NRM Kenya, NRM Kenya, like this. You know, I was still doing resist. I was still somewhere behind. Now I'm here. I'm updated. I'm going to take a photo with him, but I will not allow people to take a photo with him without putting something in this basket. I have a basket here. And I want to say also very quickly, Apostle, you're going to sing as we do this photo session. Okay. All right, so Apostle will sing a song as we do this. We're going to have a quick photo session. Each and every one of us has an opportunity. In the next few minutes, we have requested for an extra time here, but they can only extend it to almost 8:30. So we want to be quick and organized. DMV people, we know how to keep time. Now, having learned all we have learned, having registered ourselves to NRM, come and take a photo with the General right now. Put something in this basket. And I want to appreciate each and every one of us for writing our names. If you have not written your name and your contact in our paper, please do so that we can continue. This is something we are going to do until we see the illegitimate government out. Did you learn a word called military president today? Did you know the truth today? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's something I forgot. Let me say this. We are building a platform, an NRM WhatsApp platform. We have Beatrice from New York. There is a coordinator in Canada called Lillian, and we have a gentleman called Kevin Were in the UK. They are going to coordinate the platform because they are very professionals, they have integrity, and we want to build a platform so that people can join, people can discuss. I know we will make mistakes. There is nothing that happens without mistakes. Only utopia operates without mistakes. But for as long as we learn and we pick up ourselves and keep moving, then we will reach our destination. So don't be discouraged because, there are mistakes or people are flaring up here and there. That is normal. It's human nature.
Thank you, General. All right, so before Apostle takes up on the music and the photo man is ready, I would like again to say that we recognize even the presence of those who have come in here with their own other intentions. You know, we have said we are NRM. We don't care. We don't. If you've come here with your own intentions, you know, I don't know who you are, whoever you are, because the word has come that some people are here with us with their own intentions. You know.
And we know them.
Okay. All right. They are known. If you are here with your own, it's foolishness. Again, General will say that is nonsense. We are not being moved because you are here to come and investigate or take some information. You can do whatever you want to do.
We saw them on Friday.
Okay, all right. So now we are, you know when you have to soldier on things, you don't have to, you don't put up with nonsense. So let us have the second person after me, who is coming second after me to take a photo. Please put something substantial here. Write a check. If you have cash, put cash here. If you do not have much today, commit yourself in paper. I have June. Where is June? Okay, June will be able to take down some names and commitment for today. This is what we are giving General to go with. We are going to continue because we are organized here, and we are going to continue to raise funds and support this movement to see the victory. Yes.
We accept donations even for those.
Thank you.
liberation dance. Cheza. General yuko hapa, General Miguna.
Picha na Miguna. Modesta way.